Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for subscribing to this channel. Kindly, if you have not subscribed, just check the subscription button. It's red. Click the notification bell and like our video so that whenever I publish a video, you'll be getting notifications. Some people normally tell me, Kevin, there is one video that I did not say. Regarding Gachagua is trying to reach out to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And this to me is not worrying, is not a surprise. Because some of William Ruto's handlers in his camp have been coming out in public to say that William Ruto's main opponent is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and not Raila Odinga. And one of the lawyers was in Twitter saying that President Uhuru Kenyatta knew that William Ruto had an influence in the commission and everything that was happening. Perhaps the state had an idea. There is a clip, a 20-minute audio that was circulating recently, that were conversation between two policemen, and they were actually coming to say that the state knew whatever was going on. So we have now a duel in Supreme Court. But regarding Gachagua is trying to reach out to the president. And do you think this can rescue the situation? Yesterday, the 21st of Sunday, regarding Gachagua organized a church function in Kiambu under the PCA, and it was themed Thanksgiving ceremony. It was graced by mainly the UDA politicians, but I did not see Kenya Kwanza, the face of Kenya Kwanza. I saw the face of UDA, and I also did not see Moses Kuria. So maybe was not invited, but it's a fodder for another day. You can look at that. So I followed that event keenly, and what I wanted to find out is, honestly, what was the intention of that meeting? And so if you listen to the speeches by Rigathi Gachagua, the president-elect, now I'm told because there is a Supreme Court case, there is no president-elect, the position, that title is now suppressed, and so it goes back to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. The lawyers can help us explain that. And you listen to Kimani Ichungwa, you'll actually read the mood and the panic they are having over the Supreme Court move. So the first Mount Kenya tour, that meeting was the first Mount Kenya tour after the election. And remember, it was in Kiambu, and that is the place they also held their very last rally on August 6th. After Nyayo, they flew to Kiambu and held their last rally there. It was a bit premature, maybe, to hold a Thanksgiving rally there, because how about if Supreme Court turns the tables? But you'll understand, because that event was just aimed to speak to the heart of people there and also blow confidence that they are going to form the next government. This meeting, the whole of each and every speaker who was talking was trying to send an olive oil to the president. And you will see difference that while in social media and in other social places, they have been trying to blame the president for over Raila's move and say that the president, actually remember recently, when Rigathi Gachagua made a statement that president did not want to cede power and the inauguration ceremony will go on whether President Uhuru Kenyatta attends or decides not. They changed the tone. And I remember when Waititu came and said that he's happy that President Uhuru Kenyatta is now a civilian like him, Rigathi Gachagua stood and on a point told Waititu that he's confused. I think he's been out because he's confused. They're going to accord the president what it desires. Now I ask, this very interesting twist to that is this, that what the president enjoys, the president does not enjoy the retirement package is not a favor, but it is in the constitution. Just like MPs that have their retirement packages, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the judiciary, and other prominent civil servants. Actually, everyone has a retirement benefit. So they are making the Mount Kenya residents, or rather their supporters, to feel like what president is entitled to is at their mercies. That is not it. I want to give you next few minutes so that you listen to the speech. I've got some bites, clips from Gachagua, Ruto, and Ichungwa. Now listen to that here.
We shall respect your right to go to court and pursue your rights in court. But please, we also plead with the government in place today, do not attempt to coerce, to intimidate, or to bribe our judiciary as you attempted with IEBC. Respect the will of the Kenyan people, and God will guide you even in retirement and even as you exit the reins of leadership of our country.
Baba yao amechanganyikiwa kidogo kwa sababu ya kukaa nje sana. Msimamo wa serikali mpya William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta atapata heshima yake, atalindwa na familia yake, aende retire, apumzike polepole. Si iko namna hiyo? President wetu atapata heshima yake kama ile ya Mwai Kibaki, ile ya President Moi, aende nyumbani kama retired president na atapata heshima yake ile ambayo inatakikana. Wacha tumbatie kijana.
Tunamshukuru kiongozi wetu wa taifa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kwa mchango wake katika kufikisha Kenya mahali imefika leo, na mimi nataka nimhakikishie ya kwamba atakuwa na heshima yake, atakuwa na mahali pake kama kiongozi wetu ambaye atastaafu kama rais wa Kenya, ili tuweze kuchunga heshima ya taifa na kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wote wanaungana tukiwa tunaenda mbele. Yale mengi ambayo tulifanya pamoja, tutajenga juu ya msingi huo na kupeleka taifa letu mbele. Yale ambayo hayakuwezekana tutairekebisha ili tuweze kupeleka taifa letu mbele. Najua kuna miradi nyingi.
Now, if you listen to the very first, everything was about the president will give you, will respect you, will continue to finish the projects. And they seemed to be so much interested in trying to portray President Uhuru Kenyatta as one who did not do anything for Mount Kenya, and they're now coming to breathe some hope. I want to just make my personal observation. If you have gone through Nairobi, Mombasa Road, you've gone to Nakuru and Kisumu, this year I think these two have traversed well. Nairobi, the side of Mombasa Road. Wow. Hey, semeni tu Uhuru hakuna kitu amefanya. But Uhuru has worked. I think after some time, the Kenyans will remember Uhuru. President Uhuru has really worked. I was in Kisumu. I visited Mamboleo, the port. I went through Nakuru, the port, the Naivasha port. There is some amazing work. But of course, Kenyans will have to understand. Kindly subscribe to our channel. And I want to remind us about the 15 days extension of Sarah Tieno's medical fund challenge, 50 bob challenge that is going on. After the first 21 days, we were in a position to pull cumulatively plus what the insurance paid. 829,000 was paid. Team Bold were in a position to raise 679,000. Then we secured an approval of an insurance scheme from Britam, and 150,000 again was paid. So Sarah only has a balance of 215,000. I also understand the house is locked. So I've been the 15 days extension. If those of us, we can continue just to donate as little as 50 bob, I believe that Sarah will leave the hospital on 5th September. That's my conviction, that on 5th, this will be done. Guys, I see the Kenya Kwanza team strongly are worried about a backroom influence of President Uhuru Kenyatta as Raila Odinga moves to court. And there are two ways that the president can play. The president can play reverse psychology. His silence is playing reverse psychology on Kenya Kwanza. Someone was just talking behind the scenes, and someone was telling me the president can even meet William Ruto secretly, tell William Ruto that he should not worry, he's going to hand over power to him. The Supreme Court move, underestimate the Supreme Court move on between William Ruto. Then before Ruto knows, Supreme Court overturns the tables. He might be caught unaware. Because what I have always believed, of course, the Supreme Court is an apex body that they make decisions. Of course, there is an element of fairness. But on such a weighty matter, there are a lot of influence that comes outside the judiciary. There is influence from the executive, there is influence from the other sources. So I want to believe, and if you listen to the way they're talking, they tend to be so much reserved and getting worried about what the president is really, the silence of the president, even as Raila Odinga heads to court. And that silence can be interpreted in different forms. I see forces around President Uhuru Kenyatta that are for the status quo. These are forces that feel because at the campaign trail, people crossed paths, there was a lot of friction. When William Ruto takes over government, they are going to be pushed to the periphery. Some of them will really have to be passed through some very hard, harsh conditions. These forces around the president are the forces that Kenya Kwanza team are trying to reach out to. And I can tell you, when Ruto is saying, I'm not going to touch the president, he's not talking about the president because it's in public domain. There is nothing he can do to President Uhuru Kenyatta. But he's simply reaching out to the office of the president and the camps around President Uhuru Kenyatta that, look here, I am not going to do anything to you. Why is it? They might have realized, and this is my opinion, that they have camps around the president that are actually against deputy president. So deputy president trying to reach out to them to tell them that things are not going to be very difficult on your end. But then this meeting, I can also see that it was organized to address President Uhuru Kenyatta because probably the president has become inaccessible. They cannot access him. Made efforts, but the president seems to have pushed them to the periphery. So they are only now going to the public to talk to the president in the public. And I will say, if the president decides to skip their swearing in, if the appeal case at Supreme Court collapses, then what are you going to see? It's going to cost the legitimacy of the government of the day. Guys, that's my bold, and I am back with something from the Supreme Courts.